Guys, we are MMA UK News. Stoomboy, as always, MMA UK BJJ show. So, going to be talking about Goliath Fight Series 4. Goliath Fight Series 4 is going to be next weekend, 24th of June. Going to be at the Alloa Town Hall. Now, we talked about it, grapple by day, fight by night. So, the grappling that starts at, I believe the doors from Tottenham Harris, doors open at 10:30. First fight's going to be at 11 o'clock. Tickets are available on the door for this, so make sure you turn up and pay on the door. Then
for the grappling,
for the grappling, and then 3:30 that should finish. Everybody clears out, and then we move on to the combat sports, the fight, the K1, the MMA, and so on. So that is a ticketed event. So make sure you get your tickets. Hit up your chosen fighters, because as Harris was saying last night, these guys are getting a commission on the ticket sales. So make sure you hit up your chosen fighter for a ticket. If you can't, if you're not going to see anybody in particular, then hit up the Goliath Fight Series on Instagram, and you've got all the details through there. So that starts, doors open for the combat sports at night, 4:30. First fight is at 5 o'clock. So going to be another amazing day. Anybody that's ever been at a Goliath Fight Series will tell you the same thing. It's a fucking awesome show. With awesome fighters. I mean, some of the top talent. And I said this last night. This is probably the chance, in a lot of cases, the last chance you're going to get to see some of these guys as an amateur at Alloa Town Hall. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, you're the same. I mean, as the people, when you were an amateur, there was a time where people were saying, look, this might be the last time you'll see you. And now, here we are. You're a UFC fighter. So, it could be the same for some of these guys.
Yeah, for sure. You know, as well as that, you know, we want to give as much experience to these young guys, you know, especially fighting. Maybe the first fight may be a bit scary for them. So we've got a couple of fights at like 16-year-olds who want to come in and do a bit. So they've got shin pads on. And so from my end of the deal, I want to try and make it as fair and as square as possible. Obviously, as a promoter and as a runner of the show, I've always got to put things forward, you know, ask if, say, for instance, somebody will go up in weight. But at the end of the day, if they're not comfortable with that, that's their choice. You know, we're never pushing anybody into anything. And we've got a lot of guys stepping up. We've got a lot of guys fighting up, like, say, for instance, up a belt in jiu-jitsu. We've got a couple of guys fighting up in weight, but also down in belt. So, there's some interesting matchups, you know, and we're looking forward to seeing it all. You know, as I said before, we're trying to put our own little niche on the show. We're trying to put the grappling on in the morning, so grappling by day, and then the fights by night. So we've got grappling in the morning, K1 and MMA at night time, and we've got some good fights. We've got a lot of local lads, you know, a lot of local Alloa guys on the show. So we're looking for a rowdy crowd.
And the thing is, I mean, you're not going to be here. I mean, you're deep in training camp at the moment. So, obviously over in Miami. Despite what Harris said you're out there enjoying yourself, you're on beaches and all that kind of stuff. But you're putting in the work. You are putting in the work. So,
mate, look at the state. That's the only window I can see on a day-to-day basis. This is the shit I need to look at. I've not even got fucking bed sheets on my bed. It's like prison. Everybody sees the Instagram part of it, you know, the training with Dustin Poirier and Jorge Masvidal. You see all the good bits because that's what you post on social media, but they don't see the grind, they don't see the effort that I'm putting in. And I'm always on my phone, I'm always fucking doing matchups and making sure guys have got fights and stuff like that. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise. It's an absolute pain in the arse messaging people back and forth about fights and potentials. But it's been good. It's kind of kept me focused throughout the day, because there's a middle ground in the middle of the day here where I'm kind of struggling for things to do. So this has been a good thing for me. And I've always wanted to look for something that didn't affect my training, like physical work did. Whereas sitting on my phone doesn't really take much out of me. So don't get me wrong, it's a bit of a pain in the arse sometimes when people pull out and stuff, but that's just the nature of the game. So we're just doing what we can, and between me and Stephen, we're trying to build the best fight promotion in Scotland.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I've been there since day one. Goliath Fight Series 1. And as I said, I've been able to see it go from the Glen Pavilion. Obviously, did the first 2 there, then went to the Loch Gailey Centre. Now going to be at Alloa Town Hall. And I mean, I talk to Stephen all the time. I talk to Harris all the time. And he's got big plans, Harris. I mean, you talk to him more than me. And sometimes you sit there, right? I remember the very first time before the first one, he came to me and said, Stum, I've got a dream, right? That was like a Martin Luther King type dream. Here he comes, right? And then he was sitting telling me, and I was thinking, yeah, well, listen, do you know what I mean? Because how many times I hear it all the time from people saying, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You're the same. You probably hear it all the time as well. But then he went out and he done it absolutely brilliantly. And then he's built up and built up.
The thing is with me and Stephen, we've got such a good dynamic because first and foremost, I'm a fighter. And everybody knows that. So I use my niche in the sense that I'm out fighting. I know the ropes. I know what it's like from the other end. And Stephen kind of takes the reins when I'm away doing this sort of thing. And you know, we've got such a good dynamic. Stephen's very motivated to put on fight promotion. He's very passionate about it as well. So I'm very fortunate to be in business with him. And you know, there's going to come a point when maybe Stephen wants to go on holiday and I'm going to have to take up the slack. So we've got a really good business dynamic, and you think that the fight series and the grappling series is just one thing. Wait until you see what we've got planned for the future. We've got some big things coming up. Like we're going to take over. Like it's I don't do anything by halves, and neither does Stephen. So before this all came about, me and Stephen had a lot of chats. I did a couple of seminars, and I seen how passionate he was about his own team, and he wanted me to come in and coach his team and help out his guys. So that's what really set in stone about why I wanted to get into business with Stephen. So going forward, like you say, we're the best fight promotion yet in Scotland. We will be even better, and what we're trying to do is we know we're obviously the best, but we need to leave this big space in the middle. We want people to be like, we're blowing people out the water with it. We've got big plans. We're going to invest back into the business. You know, things like promotional things. You know, the silly things that people don't really take into account for, like lights and fucking pyros and smoke. And we've got all these different things that we're going to start putting into the business again. And we've got fucking 3 cages. You know, so we've got room for different shows, and we can put on a show and we can also rent out at the same time. So the dynamic that me and Stephen have is second to none, and we both know our roles in it, and we're just looking forward to putting on the best show for everybody, especially these amateurs. The amateurs are the building blocks for, you know, you followed me since my amateur days. The building blocks weren't really there. I had to kind of go abroad, and I had to do some fights down south and stuff like that. So, and I had a lot of kind of controversy with some shows. You know, I was an amateur, but I was a very exciting amateur. All my amateur fights were KOs, knockouts, and I was asking for money, and a lot of guys were trying to like bargain with me and stuff like that. And they were wanting me on their show. It wasn't like I was asking to be on their show. So we're trying to build our business. We're not quite there at the moment, but we will be able to pay professionals in the future.
Nah, it's definitely exciting. I mean, and again, I mean, the team. I talked about this last night. Harris talks about it. I know you talk about it as well. But the team, the Goliath team, right? We talk about from you, Harris, bringing on Scotty Malone, all the way to like the medical staff, Callum Murray doing the announcing, all the staff, the runners, everybody does a fantastic job, and everybody does their job perfectly on the day when it matters.
Yeah, for sure. I was the first show I was running a bit ragged because I'm a bit of a control freak. Stephen says so. I better call him Harris because he says that he only gets told off when he's getting called Stephen. So Harris had this group of people around about him at Goliath that support him and help him, and he's got this great network, and I've never really had that. So I've always trusted in myself, and I always do things myself. So it was very difficult for me to kind of let go of the reins and trust people to get on with jobs without me being there. So now I feel that I've got that with the business, and I've networked out to a few of my training partners in the past, and they're more than happy to jump on and help me. So I'm very fortunate with that, and that's part of the growth of the show. Is we've got to try and like trust people and their jobs. You know, it's like it's going to be a big business as going forward. You know, we want to put back into it, and we want it to run smoothly and have different working components that make the show run smooth without us doing too much work. You know, because we're at the forefront of it now. You know.
Yeah, yeah. Does it make it easier? Right. Now, this is a question I've asked quite a few pros, pros that are at the top of their game. Whenever they put on a show, does it make it easier when you message someone and say, "It's Chris Duncan, I want you on the show," or does it make it easier that you using your name to get someone on the show?
Especially that blue tick on Instagram, that helps a bunch. And you know, we don't need to joke, and we don't need to kid on. You know, that's part and parcel why I'm in business with Stephen. You know, it's just part of the game. I've worked very, very hard to get into the position I'm in just now, and you know, I can add value through that, and also Stephen adds value to other things in the business. So that's why we're such a good dynamic. You know, that blue tick means a lot. I get quick responses on Instagram. It's pretty good. And then going forward, you know, in the future when we start making some more money, we've got some big names that really want to come and fight in the show. But obviously, these guys need paid, so we're going to need to pay and put our hand in our pocket for that. But we're happy to do so because they're going to bring some eyes to it. You know. Yeah,
yeah. Who are you looking forward to? Because obviously you're going to be getting the pay-per-view. Harris said he's making you buy the pay-per-view. I was like, surely not.
Making me buy it? I'll be fucking buying it regardless. He doesn't need to fucking make me. It's my show, man. I'm just as in it as he is, you know. I might buy two. To be honest, the fight I'm looking forward to the most is probably the two local lads. Not because I know them. I always remember when I used to fight on SFC, I loved the pressure. I enjoy the pressure of the home crowd. When I used to fight, I used to make a lot of money selling tickets. A lot of these amateurs, they don't sell as many tickets as I used to. I used to sell between 120 and 140 tickets per show. I remember fucking pretty much selling out one of the Headhunter shows that I fought on. So I'm looking forward to seeing how the young guys are as motivated to make money out of their fighting as well. Is it Sean Conway?
Sean Conway,
yeah, that's his name. So I'm looking forward to him because he's obviously a local Alabama lad, and there's also Oscar. I'm looking forward to watching those two fights. Because they're the local lads, and because I can put myself in the same position as what they were. Because when I was an amateur, we didn't get paid. You know, we didn't get much money. When the promoters did ask me if I wanted to fight on their show, then I would ask for money. But before that, I had to make my money through my ticket sales. And sometimes I would go away with $3,000 in my back pocket because I've been selling tickets. So that's a massive one for me. So I'm looking forward to, and as I say, these amateur guys need to learn that as well. Like, they need to learn, and they need to put on exciting fights. Like, people don't want to come watch you if you're shit, and it's just the way it goes. So if you're exciting and you're going to put on a show, that's when people buy tickets, and that's why I was so successful with selling tickets. I think the most I ever sold was 143, and that's fucking unbelievable, you know.
Yeah. No, that's a lot. I mean, as they and again, I mean, you're right. I mean, I talk to a lot of the guys. I do interviews and all that kind of stuff, and that's what I say to them. Look, build up your social media. Do you want to have your social media? Social media is free of charge. Get your Facebook, your Instagrams, and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Build your following up from that. Do you know what I mean? Because again, like when even when you go back to your amateur days, do you know what I mean? Like Facebook and Instagram and all, it was building. Right, it wasn't as massive as now. Do you know what I mean? So again, you done exactly the same way. You built up everything social media. Do you know what I mean? Through word of mouth, through people seeing you fighting and stuff like that. So I talk to them about that and say, get that sorted, and then that way they'll sell shitloads of tickets. Look at the Clancy's everywhere they go, they take bus fulls of people, and they've been doing that since amateur days.
I used to fucking I was saying to the young guys in the gym. I said, you need to build your social media following because that's where you get paid. And it was just so funny that it happened that the day before I was speaking to one of the sponsors, and he said, could you do me 5 posts this month? And I was like, of course I can, man. And he's like, obviously I'll square you away. So when I came into the gym, I started training. He came up to me and he handed me over an envelope full of cash, and I opened it up and I said, he's wanting 5 posts this month. I was like, this is why you need to build your business. This is why you need to build your social media. Because if you're looking to message somebody that you don't know, you just type their name on Instagram or Facebook and it pops up. So it's like free advertising. And it's just the way that the sport goes. People want to see fighters, and that's why OnlyFans is so expensive these days, because fighters are fucking going on to OnlyFans and they're putting on their training clips, so it's the same shit.
Yeah. Nah, they're right. I tell them all the time. Do you know what I mean? Some of them use it well. Some of them do use it well. A lot of the younger ones don't really bother with it. Do you know what I mean? So, but they're starting to come around. They're starting to use it. They're starting to use it really well. Poster. Who was one? Young Yusuf, when he went to Thailand, he was constantly posting videos, not big clips and all that. So he was doing well with it.
He needs to get a new phone. That's what he needs to do. He's probably got a fucking Samsung or something like that with the shit blurry photos. Like, what's going on with that? Fucking hell.
Mate, he's had that same phone forever. Do you know what I mean? So that'll no go.
I always remember this one thing, Stu, I hope you don't mind me mentioning it, but you put your hand out and help Yusuf. People like yourself need to be like, I say to Yusuf and I say to other people need to be thankful for that. And there was you got a little bit of backlash off of the back of that. And I always remember I jumped on that and I was like, who the fuck are you to deny this young man the privilege to make a little bit of money or get some sponsor gear? Like, mate, like, see, getting a t-shirt, like, that boy never has that fucking t-shirt off. It's always on him. Like, people need to realize that this is, as much as it's a sport, it's a lifestyle for these guys. Like, Yusuf is so engrossed in that. And anybody that has a sponsor or anybody that has something on board, like, we've got loads of sponsors on the show, shout out to them as well. We wouldn't be anywhere without these guys. So we need to make sure we support them back.
Yeah. No, listen, I appreciate it. I remember talking to you about it after it. I remember we were talking in private message saying, do you know what I mean? And I mean, I did it. Everybody knew the reason. Yusuf especially knew the reason. Because I remember being there his very first fight, right, and seeing him, and he was a brawler, man. He came at it, and he, no matter he won or lost, he did not care, man. He had that same goofy look on his face when he walked out the cage.
Also, I'm taking full accountability for the name Turkish Delight. I gave him that. So
that was awesome. That's an awesome name.
Mate, it's fucking perfect, and it sits well. And the t-shirt that you've got for him and that is brilliant, man. Like, I'll always remember that t-shirt. So that's great, That's great.
Nah, listen, it was a little something, right? But it meant so much to him. Do you know what I mean? So,
mate, people don't realise that. I've had small sponsors that I've turned now into big sponsors. So see, at the end of the day, imagine. I remember I jumped on board with this. I'll not mention it because obviously we're talking about money and some private things. But I jumped on with the business very early on in my career with no money. I got free product. And now going forward, I'm getting paid a wage from these guys. So, and you've got to believe in the product. And just because you start off at that doesn't mean you can't negotiate in the future. So, it's very important for fighters to understand that, and as well support the show. We've got our show coming up, and a lot of guys have jumped on and said, "Listen, I can't fight on your show, but we could maybe do a grappling match," and we're forever thankful for that. Without the show, without the fighters, we wouldn't have the show. So we've got to thank the fighters, and going forward, as I said, we've got some exciting things to come, like knockout of the night and fight of the night. So these are the things we're going to slowly start integrating. As I say, we're a business just starting out. So going forward, we're going to start giving back to the fighters much, much more.
Yeah, let's definitely support the show because, and again, I say this all the time, and not the show, the fighters and stuff like that, because as I said, this could be the last time that you see some of these fighters, because some of these guys are going to go on and do great things. Do you know what I mean? Some of these guys will go to the top. So don't be like, when they get to the top, then suddenly start following them. Do you know what I mean? Like, follow them now. Follow them at grassroots level. Same with the shows as well. I mean, as I said, a big shout out to everybody that's followed Goliath from day one. Do you know what I mean? So, because, and you see these people every time you go to the show and you see the same people in the crowd that you saw at the first one, the second one, the third one. So, and you're starting to recognise everybody. So, but a big shout out to everybody, but definitely get involved. Get to a show, because there is nothing like a Goliath day.
No.
Not even a day, a night, like nothing like a Goliath night. This is going to be a whole fucking day, a whole Saturday. Just
I know, chaos, mate. I know it. The thing is as well, you know, it's all a big talk, and it's all like saying like, we're the best show in Scotland. But at the end of the day, we're proving it by putting on these shows back to back and making sure we have exciting fights. So, the only reason why we're so confident in that is because, you know, there's proof in the pudding. You know, we're 4 shows deep now, selling out every single one. So, like, who can deny that we're pushing forward? And like I say, on my side of things, I really want to give back to the fighters, and so does Stephen. So, it's going to be fucking the best show ever. You know, we're going to go different places. We're going to go different countries. You know, we've got big plans.
Listen, I appreciate your time, Chris. Absolutely appreciate. I know you're, as I said, I know you're working hard, despite what Harris says. I know you're over there working hard. You're the hardest working guy that I see in fucking MMA. I don't see anybody else doing some of the stuff you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So,
no. I got that compliment just 2 days ago in the gym. Like, at the end of the day, I've never felt that I've been naturally gifted with. I'm not the best of grapplers or wrestlers or strikers. I don't feel like I'm the overall package. A lot of people get away with being like a specialist in one area. I've never been like a specialist. But one thing I can't deny myself is that I work fucking hard, and I've had 3 or 4 different people that are in the top 10 in the UFC over here saying that I'm the hardest worker in the room, and I'm just a fucking guy from Alloa, Scotland. So it all starts in Alloa, and it can go so wide. So anybody that watches and is trying to like chase their dreams and stuff like that, all I can say is just make sure you work hard enough, and at the end of the day, when you work hard, there's only going to be something in return, because if you give it your all, like, what the fuck, what's the worst that can happen? Imagine, like, I go through my full career, right, and I never make it to be world champion, right? I can always say it was never meant to be, because I fucking put in the effort. And I never walk out to a fight saying, oh, have I trained hard enough? You know, that's never in the back of my mind. Sometimes I'm like, fucking hell, I should have took the day off, but that's another thing.
Yes. Well, listen, we appreciate you, as you know, in Scotland. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's 100% behind everything you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So, I mean, you put in a lot of sacrifices to get just to the cage. And you said that earlier. I mean, people only see that maybe 9 minutes as an amateur, or 15 minutes a professional, 25 minutes and all that. They don't see the graft that you put in a training camp, away from your family and doing all the stuff that you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So listen, we're 100% behind you. Absolutely love what you're doing, and can't wait to see you come home.
I know for sure. And as well, we'll be getting you a wee fucking fight in our show as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where did you see who put his name up? I was like, man. But
fuck.
Harris said, look, we'll find someone. So I'll be do you know what I mean? Weight's coming down. Do you know what I mean? I'm hoping to be in a good weight category. Do you know what I mean? So
when I get home, I'll come do a couple of sessions with you, man. Can help you out.
Well, that's the thing. I'm going to be Saturdays. I'm going to get over at because I know you come over on a Saturday. I'm going to. There's a lot of people have said, look, come, we'll do some training and all that. So I'm going to get something sorted out. So.
Trying to give back the support that you've given all the fighters and all the guys, and as I say, you're very grateful of what I've done, but we're also very grateful what you do. You've got such a big name in grappling and also in the MMA, so we're very grateful for you as well. So thanks very much, mate.
Listen, I appreciate it. I've not got that fucking blue tick yet, though.
I'll speak to the guys at the UFC, see if they'll get you one.
I'll get one one day. But Chris, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking the time to speak to me.
No problem, mate.
And I'll see you soon, buddy. All right?
Speak to you soon, Stu. Thanks.
Take care, bro.
Bye-bye.